So Xbox has been on another level with game announcements from this past Gamescom and just general leaks, plus major Game Pass confirmations from Big Phil Spencer himself. We'll take a look at the latest news and Xbox Game Pass announcements, and we have the September Games with Gold. My name is Sunny at Xbox Central. With that, let's go. So the big announcement today from Phil Spencer himself is that Game Pass is about to receive Overwatch, Diablo, and Call of Duty confirmed for the monthly subscription as they continue to work through the Activision Blizzard acquisition. Now guys, this is massive. Activision/Blizzard is set to launch Overwatch 2 next month, though that is reportedly a free-to-play title, but we might see some major bonuses for Game Pass users. Also, Diablo 4 is in the works, though that's not intended to release until next year in 2023, and that is set to be the biggest game in the franchise to date, and honestly it's the biggest action RPG launched in quite some time. Finally, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is also set to launch late October. This could also see a day one Game Pass release, which is pretty insane. Now those specific games are not yet confirmed for Game Pass on those launch dates, but I really think a lot of us are going to be making some bets, including myself. We are going to see it, meaning we might be set to get some major titles onto Game Pass this year in 2022, meaning we're not going to have to wait till 2023 to see all these first-party exclusives. Again, Phil confirmed we are set to get Overwatch, Diablo, and Call of Duty on Game Pass. That's absolutely happening. We just don't know when, so fingers crossed for some day one Game Pass releases here pretty soon. Alright, with that, in the past week we've also gotten some major announcements for some pretty insane Game Pass titles, and joining Game Pass as a day one title, Lies of P puts you in the shoes of Pinocchio, and you're in a bid to fight hard to become a human. But what makes Lies of P a unique title is you're going to be in these really specific scenarios where you either lie or you don't. But you only have a few seconds to answer, giving you almost no time to think about the consequences of your decisions. The game's going to play out and progress differently depending on how you lie. But on top of what's going to be some pretty unique story and character building, the game's gameplay really shines. It's an action Souls-like game where you're going to fight hell-filled creatures with a very deep combat system that has you changing parts of your body to gain new skills and abilities to gain an edge. Out of all the Game Pass games coming to Xbox in 2023, for me, this has personally skyrocketed to one of my top 10 and one of my most anticipated Souls-like games of the next couple years. Our next game, Marauders, is also confirmed for Game Pass. This is a sci-fi tactical first-person shooter where you alone or up to 3 other players try to survive some really intense combat encounters. Not only in the sci-fi gunfights, but there's even sci-fi dogfights in space as you can upgrade your ship with resources that you scavenge. But you'll also be on the hunt for both loot and crafting for your own weapons and your own gear. So far gameplay to me has looked really excellent on this. You'll be raiding other ships and settlements and completely taking them out, all in a bit of survival for you on your end. There isn't a specific date for the release of this one yet, but it is set to come very soon, and I am seeing reports of this one coming just next month in October. So we'll keep an eye out for this one for the Game Pass day one release. And with that, we do have some smaller Game Pass titles headed our way, starting with You Suck at Parking. This is a racing game where you race to the end to be the first person to essentially park. So far, it's a really wild and wacky title. The gameplay just looks pretty insane, and it does feature 8 players online. And this is also set to come in just a few weeks. Then we have Grid Legends, another racer. This actually launched today on Game Pass. It's featuring a full virtual production story. It also has its own online races. And so far, since the game released not too long ago, it's been receiving a ton of good reviews. So I think if you're into these types of games, you're really going to like this one. Our next game is Despots, a game dystopian army builder. Now, this is a roguelike tactics-based title where you build up your army and team and you sacrifice them through procedurally generated dungeons. This is also set for October. Another game coming next month is Coral Island. This is a farm sim game where you live off the land, you raise animals, and you build relationships with all the people in the town. Now, if you guys are into farming sim-like titles, this one does look very promising. It's also coming as a day one Game Pass release. Signalis. Now, this is a survival horror title where you play as Esther in search of her lost partner and her lost dreams, while discovering at the very same time very terrifying secrets. This is also set to hit Game Pass this October. Our next game is Ghost Song. This is a new Metroidvania title where you face off against aliens and horrifying creatures as you acquire new abilities that'll help you discover this alien world as you also discover the world's secrets. This one's going to be hitting later this year in November for Game Pass. Now, in a pretty unique rhythm-based RPG, Infinite Guitars has you fighting mechs with the power of metal crushing rock on a bid to save the planet, featuring anime-inspired art, rhythm-based mech battles, and a completely original soundtrack, Infinite Guitars is set to hit Game Pass sometime this year in 2022. So we got a release date for Gunfire Reborn coming to Game Pass October 27th, where you play as unique heroes with different abilities in a first-person roguelike adventure. Now each level you go through is going to be completely procedurally generated with random weapons you'll be equipping. The game promises that each level is a completely brand new experience with different types of heroes, different weapons, and even different combat experiences. The game will also be available to completely play alone, or you can play with you and up to 3 other players. And the last game for Game Pass, and I've talked about this one before, is Warhammer 4K Darktide. Unfortunately, this gets another delay. It was expected to come this September, but it now has a hard release date of November 30th, 2022. And again, this one's going to be a day one Game Pass title. This is a sequel to Vermintide, the action co-op based adventure that has honestly been one of my personal favorite co-op action based titles of the past years. And I have to say, I'm really looking forward to Darktide here when it comes in just a few months. And finally, guys, we're going to take a look at this September's games with gold. As always, if you have Game Pass Ultimate, you can claim these titles. Let's start this off with Gods Will Fall. This is available to play now. This is a top-down hack and slash roguelike title where you play as one of 2 warrior types, and as always, you're the last hope for humanity as you can play multiple characters. Now this game comes with quite a bit of difficulty as enemies will absolutely try to dodge you and be overly clever, so do expect to die a lot. Now there is gear and there is items that you'll be acquiring through your playthrough, and you'll also be discovering new skills as you continue to progress through the game. I have to say the boss fights look really fun in this game, but in general this hasn't been a super well-liked game since it released. The combat does get described as very clunky at times, but either way, this is available to play now, and you have until September 16th to claim the title. Double Kick Heroes is our next game. This is about taking out zombies with metal music based rhythm. The game does feature 24 levels in the story mode, and it does have an editor mode where you can design your own level as well. The music in this game is what stands out. It might be worth a try if you guys are into rhythm based titles. Double Kick Heroes is going to be available from September 16th to October 15th. Now Thrillville, this is our next game. It's definitely a bit old school to say the least. It dropped back all the way in 2007, and here is the player. You're going to be building coasters and then riding them. This is going to be available until the 15th. And finally, the biggest game out of all the games with gold for September has to be Portal 2. This is a game about mind-bending physics-based puzzles with an awesome single-player story that features a hilarious cast of characters you'll be engaging with, including a very mysterious, murderous computer companion. The game also has a 2-player co-op experience with its own very dedicated story, characters, and gameplay. Now, if you guys are into puzzle titles, Portal 2 is actually considered one of the best, if not the very best puzzle game of all time, or one of the best and up there. In general, it's just a very high quality title overall, and Portal 2 will be available September 16th to the 30th. Make sure you guys claim those games right away and check out some of the upcoming September games with the video on the screen.